If your paycheck disappears in a few days, the problem is not always income. Often the problem is that payday arrives with no traffic system around it. Every bill, impulse, subscription, grocery run, and worry enters the same crowded lane. So the first 48 hours after payday quietly decide the rest of the month. A better approach is to reset the paycheck before the month starts negotiating with you. This is a calm system, not a punishment system, and it works because it removes noise early. We are going to build it without complicated spreadsheets or motivational speeches. By the end, your money should feel assigned, protected, and easier to live with. Most people try to budget when they are already tired, guilty, or behind. That is the hardest possible moment to make clean financial decisions. The first trap is mental leftovers. Money looks available because it has not left yet. The second trap is invisible timing. Bills arrive later, while temptations arrive now. The third trap is emotional spending after a stressful week because payday feels like relief. None of these traps mean you are careless. They mean your system asks too much of memory. The reset fixes timing first because timing is where many budgets quietly break. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" it asks, "Has this dollar already been assigned?" Step 1 starts before you buy anything. Give the paycheck a landing zone. For one short moment, every dollar lands in a calm, central place. Do not judge it, celebrate it, or start shopping with it yet. Just let the full paycheck become visible before it starts splitting into jobs. That tiny pause matters because scattered money feels smaller and more emotional. A landing zone turns the paycheck from a feeling into a clear object. If your bank allows it, this can be one checking account or one payroll deposit account. The goal is not a perfect account structure. The goal is a predictable first stop. When money lands the same way every time, the rest of the system becomes easier. Step 2 is to pull fixed commitments out of the crowd immediately. Rent, utilities, insurance, minimum debt payments, and known bills should not compete with brunch. When those dollars remain mixed with spending money, your balance becomes a liar. It looks generous on day 2, then suddenly strict on day 18. So in the first 48 hours, move fixed commitments into their own protected lane. This can be a separate bill account, a scheduled payment bucket, or a simple reserved balance. What matters is that everyday spending cannot accidentally eat next week's obligation. A calm bill lane turns the month from a guessing game into a route. Step 3 is to protect a small emergency buffer before lifestyle decisions begin. The buffer is not for vacations, upgrades, or making the budget look impressive. It is for the ordinary surprises that make people reach for expensive solutions. A car issue, a pharmacy run, a broken appliance, or a missed workday can bend a month. If the buffer gets paid last, it usually receives whatever mood and memory leave behind. So pay it early, even if the amount is modest and almost boring. Consistency matters more than drama because the cushion needs to exist before the surprise. The safest buffer is separate enough that you do not see it during casual spending. Step 4 is to create a real spending window, not a guilt window. After fixed commitments and the buffer are protected, everyday money becomes cleaner. This is the money for groceries, coffee, small fun, transportation, and ordinary life. The point is not to remove enjoyment. It is to stop enjoyment from borrowing from rent. A spending window gives you permission and limits at the same time. That combination is powerful because guilt alone does not create clarity. If possible, divide this window by week rather than trusting one big monthly number. Weekly spending feels closer to real life, and it exposes problems sooner. When the window is visible, you can adjust without blowing up the whole month. Step 5 is to build a runway for expenses that pretend to be surprises. Holidays, school costs, car repairs, annual renewals, and travel are not random. They only feel random when the money starts moving after the bill appears. A runway sends a little money forward each payday before the expense lands. This is not glamorous, but it prevents a future bill from ambushing your current paycheck. Think of it as building a quiet airport for expenses that are already flying toward you. Even small amounts help because they reduce the size of the future shock. The reset asks, what future cost would hurt less if it started today? Step 6 is to let long-term money move before attention gets tired. This can mean retirement contributions, investing, or any long-term savings goal that fits your situation. The key is not guessing the market or chasing excitement. The key is making the contribution routine enough that it does not need a debate every month. Automated, regular contributions can help compounding work quietly over time. If your emergency base is still thin, strengthen that first before chasing distant goals. A strong reset respects order. Protect the month, then build the future. The best financial system is boring enough to survive a busy week. Step 7 is to add friction where your future self usually loses. Friction does not mean shame. It means slowing down the easiest mistake. Move shopping apps off the first screen, pause large purchases overnight, or keep spending money separate. If a purchase still matters tomorrow, it can survive tomorrow. If it disappears overnight, you just protected a piece of your paycheck. Friction works best when it is decided before temptation arrives. Do not rely on being strong at the exact moment an algorithm is designed to catch you. Build the pause while you are calm, then let the pause do its job. Step 8 is a small weekly review that takes less time than avoiding your money. Look for one leak, one pressure point, and one thing that worked. You are not trying to rewrite your financial life every Sunday. You are trying to steer gently before a small problem becomes the month's personality. If grocery spending is high, adjust the next window. Do not declare failure. If the buffer moved, refill it before upgrading the rest of the plan. If a bill timing changed, update the route before payday arrives again. The review keeps the system alive without turning money into a second job. There are 3 mistakes that can make this reset feel heavier than it needs to be. The first is creating too many buckets until the system becomes a puzzle. Start with the few lanes that actually protect you: bills, buffer, spending, future costs. The second mistake is making the spending window unrealistic because you want a fast transformation. An impossible plan teaches you to ignore your own plan. The third mistake is checking progress only when something goes wrong. A calm weekly review builds trust because it notices what is working too. Simple systems win because they can be repeated when life is ordinary, not just when motivation is high. The 48-hour paycheck reset is not about becoming a different person. It is about making the first 2 days after payday protect the next 28. Land the paycheck, separate fixed commitments, protect the buffer, define the spending window. Then send money toward future costs and long-term goals before attention gets crowded. Add friction where you usually overspend, and review gently once a week. That is enough structure to make money feel less slippery. Over time, the real benefit is not just saving more. It is the feeling that your paycheck has a route before your mood can redirect it. And when money has a route, your month gets quieter. Quiet money is easier to protect, easier to grow, and much easier to live with. If you want to start small, do not rebuild everything this week. Rebuild the first 2 days. Choose one fixed bill lane, one buffer move, and one weekly spending window. That is enough to make the next paycheck behave differently from the last one. Then, when the system feels normal, add the future cost runway and the long-term contribution. The order matters because confidence grows when the plan survives real life. A money reset should not make your life smaller. It should make your choices quieter. When bills stop competing with groceries and groceries stop competing with the future, you breathe differently. That breathing room is where better financial decisions actually come from. So the next time payday lands, give it a route before the noise arrives. A paycheck with a route is no longer just money in an account. It is a month with a plan.